Okay, we're going to move over now to a gold and silver property in BC. It's Equity Metals, and it's developing its Silver Queen gold and silver project. Here to talk about developments there is the company's president, Joe Kizis. Joe has over 40 years of experience in mineral exploration. He's currently president and director of Bravada Gold and Valterra Resources, they're both sister companies within the Mannix Group. He's past president and director of Homestake Resources, which was acquired in 2016 by Oren Resources. Additionally, he was vice president, president for the Geological Society of Nevada, as well as chairman of the board of the GSN Foundation from its inception in 2000 to 2002. Hello, Joe. Are you there? There you are.
I'm here, Anthony. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you coming through loud and clear. It's really nice to see you again. Looking forward to getting updated on what you've been up to. You and your team have been up to.
Yeah, good to see you again. Thanks for having me. So let's see. I'm assuming you can see my screen. Is that correct?
See everything. So I'm going to stop my video, and yes, you are good to go. We see the presentation.
Okay, great. I'm trying to get rid of this there. Okay, very good. So yeah, Equity Metals is one of the companies within the Mannix Resource Group. You heard about Southern Silver yesterday. Our group typically focuses on the exploration side of things, so early stage to discovery in particular. So Equity Metals has a resource, or it has a property in central British Columbia. That's our focus. And of course, since we're talking about exploration, we'll be, okay, why is that not going? All right. So we'll be looking at some forward-looking statements. It's exploration, of course, and that's primarily what we deal with. So this company came to us from a mining engineer that our vice president of exploration, Rob McDonald, and I had worked with in the past in the Golden Triangle, and he was a director of this small company. They had a small resource that they were doing the Maiden resource on. It looked pretty attractive, but it was pretty small. They were trying to put that into production, and really the market wasn't buying that as a good story. Fred looked at it, said, this looks a lot like your Homestake Ridge project. Maybe you guys should take a look at it. The management of the company would be willing to step aside and let you guys take over. So we did our due diligence, and in the end of 2019, we decided to take it on. We changed the name from New Nadina to Equity Metals, and that reflected the fact that we were a new group having a different look at the project. So what attracted us to this property was, in part, the grade for the resource that these guys had put together and became public in late 2019. It's about 440,000 ounces of gold equivalent, but look at the grade, quite good, 7.5, 9.3 grams per ton, about equally broken down into indicated and inferred. And when we looked at that, we thought, well, how much of the property has been explored? What could we do? What is the type of property that we're looking at here? And, our assessment was that there were a number of targets that could pretty easily be expanding this resource, and potentially at very high grades, with the goal of getting in the plus million ounce range. And so we took over the company basically in October of 2019. We've since drilled 63 holes, and we continue drilling. There were some other assets in the company, and I'll just mention them briefly. Because Silver Queen is really our focus at this point. There are 2 diamond projects that we have an interest in. We're the managing group for the Monument project, and we just have a minority working interest with De Beers on the WO project. So these are both projects with diamond-bearing kimberlites that have been demonstrated by drilling. And we're not doing a great deal of work on these right now. We're maintaining our interests and looking at this as something, since diamonds have really started coming back in price since COVID is sort of reducing its impact. we're looking at, that as something in the future. There was a silica project that's it's pretty interesting. It's very high purity silica, and there's quite a bit of research being done now for converting that to the metal silicon and adding that to batteries, lithium batteries in particular, to extend the time of the charge that they're able to carry. So that's something that we're in the process of evaluating. Don't know whether that will turn into some value for us, but it's pretty interesting and could well be. We also have a royalty that was included in the company. It's a 1% royalty on the northern half of the Greenwood district. That entire district is held by a little company called Golden Dawn, and our property includes the historic Phoenix mine, which was a significant copper producer, over 500 million pounds and over 1 million ounces of silver. So there's some other assets in the company, but we're really going to focus on the Silver Queen. So a little look at the company here. The the company is primarily owned by retail, and we took over the company at about 5 to 7 cents, something in that range, and we're now trading at around 14 cents a share. Recently, we were up significantly higher than that as we received some very, very exciting drill results. So right now, our market cap's around $14 million. And so we think there's quite a bit of upside potential for this project. I'll show you something, a graph here in a bit here. So we're currently drilling. We raised $3.6 million late last year. We've been spending a lot of that on drilling. We expect to finish that program with about $1.5 million to maybe $1.75 million cash in the bank for our next stage of work. We're run with a pretty experienced group. Larry, an exchange or a securities lawyer. He was involved with a number of great discoveries in North America, Penasquito in Mexico, Hemlo and Eskay Creek in Canada. Rob and I were involved with the Homestake Ridge project in British Columbia. It was bought out by Oren in 2016. And a number of talented individuals as well helping to run the company. So here is the project in British Columbia. It's about midway up just east of the high range in the coastal range. It's an area of a lot of porphyry style mineralization, but there's also some pretty high grade precious metals and veins associated, we think associated with the porphyries. That was important to us because in a porphyry setting, you typically get a lot of veins. And so the resource that was developed at this earlier time here, as we were taking over, even though it's only 440,000 ounces, it's really primarily off of one vein, and there are 20 veins that are known, many of which have had some pretty interesting intercepts that really weren't followed up. So we were pretty excited. We decided to focus on one area in particular, an area that had had some previous drilling, quite a bit of it actually, with some spectacular grades, but the ores were not really continuous, and that was one of our issues. Is why is that the case? Our initial drilling, our hole number 10, hit some spectacular mineralization. Over 56,000 grams per ton silver over a narrow interval, but it was also within a much wider zone of, plus kilo silver. So pretty interesting values to start the program off. So here it's located, central part of British Columbia. Here's the town of Houston. So, our experience in the Golden Triangle was very exciting grades, but very challenging and very expensive to do work. And this property is quite a bit different. You can drive a gravel road or a paved road about partway down to, let's see, I'm going to turn that on so I can show some of these features. Let's turn the mouse on. Okay, so you can drive the paved road. Whoops. That didn't work. Okay, so there's a paved road basically through here, a good gravel road down to the Huckleberry mine. We're located right here, surrounded by, there's Newmont, Teck, quite a few large companies. And so, that's an important thing for a junior. You can see in this area here, this is the access, the gate to the camp off in the distance here. You can see our drill rig, pretty rolling terrain. And even though there are areas of exposure, a lot of the property, as you can see in this photograph in the lower right, is covered by grasslands, good ranch lands. So, very good access to the property. There's a power line going down to the Huckleberry mine, lots of water, of course. And we're really on the eastern side of the high mountain ranges of the Coast Range. So there's a bit of a snow shadow there. So unlike the work that we, that we did in the Golden Triangle, where you had maybe 3 months of safe drilling conditions, we've drilled basically all year long. All last winter, we're drilling all this past winter, so you might get 1 meter of snow instead of 10 meters of snow. That's a great savings as far as exploration features and cost. Okay, I guess you can't do that. So, oops. All right, let's find a way to get rid of that. Oops.
So just to let you know, we are a bit over. So if I can get you to wrap up in the next couple of minutes, that would be
okay. Yeah. All right. So so let's skip on here. The grade, we'll focus on that. The drilling that we've done most recently is here in the camp vein. The resource is primarily here along the number 3 vein. We've most recently drilled holes here in a zone that is trending east-west, and we're currently wrapping up our program farther to the east here. So we're expecting some additional good results. You can see some of that high grade that we hit in the camp vein initially. And when you take those east-west veins, which were primarily misidentified, they were thought to be oriented in a northwest orientation, and now we know that these are actually along east-west structures, and so we're continuing to add resources there. So taking a look at the company, we're sort of in this range, very low value for the number of silver ounces that we have. And so I will wrap up there then, if there are questions, if there's time.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. We are over, but let's get this one in here. We have a question around an updated resource in a PEA. Any timelines that you can tell investors about?
Yeah, we're waiting for the final assays coming in on the camp vein, and then we'll turn that over to the group that's going to do the resource evaluation for us. So that would be, first step would be resource update, and second would be the PEA after that. And so we're looking at probably summer, fall of this year for the PEA.
Okay, pretty big milestones right there. We wish you great success on that, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Bye.
Excellent. Cheers, Joe. Bye-bye.